first I'm gonna tell you a little story as I pass this out, okay? Not a story, but I'm gonna give you some information. So some information on the past is we were always hunter-gatherers to begin with, right? We had to wake up and go get our food. We didn't just walk out of the tent or whatever and it's ready to go. No, we had to go get the food as hunters, and then the women and children, they would go to the farmland and get all that stuff, and then every evening we would be in the village or wherever we're at, and we would feast. And then in the morning, we'd wake up, drink the fat from what we cooked last night, we'd go back out and hunt, and that's pretty much how it goes. So just remember that, okay, as I'm telling you this. I'm gonna tell you that the next time I give the speech for persuasive or whatever, but it'll be different. All right, so intermittent fasting, here we go. It's a real simple thing, okay? Everyone knows someone that could be a little bit healthier, right? And as well as without a change, we're gonna continue to be unhealthy. We need a healthier lifestyle, okay, not a fad diet. So we as a society don't understand the importance of fasting for health as well as eating healthier. Let's go ahead and dive right into what intermittent fasting is and the potential benefits. So I'm gonna pass these around so you just have time to look at it while I'm talking. These are just examples of intermittent fasting. You might see one that you can resonate better with. There's different hours because some people work nights and so on and so forth. Here we go. With intermittent fasting, you have specific times in which you may eat and specific times when you fast. For me, I'll use myself personally, or on average, most people you do the 16-8. They're fasting 16 hours, sleeping counts. They're eating 8. Okay. A lot of people start eating at noon, stop eating at 8 p.m. Boom. That's their fasting window. I've also had different clients that can't necessarily do the 16, so I'll have them do the 12-12, okay, which is a lot easier. And I'll keep going, okay, because there's some things I gotta discuss later. So there are different types of intermittent fasting, such as the 16-8, okay. There's also 5-2, which is 5 days fasting. 5 days eating normal, then 2 days straight fast, okay. That's also intermittent. Intermittent just means to start and stop, basically, okay, in general, the word intermittent. It doesn't mean it has to be this way, okay? So, and there's also every other day fasting. So you fast one day, eat normal the next day, fast one day. And then there's also fasting where you eat all day, you eat 5 days a week, and then on 2 days a week, you're only eating 500 to 700 calories, okay, one meal. So, it's called a low-calorie ordeal. Here we go. Let's discuss the metabolic benefits with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, how it improves the metabolic health. For one, it lowers blood sugars, okay? Studies have shown that it lowers blood sugars and improves the glycemic control, which is important for preventing and managing type 2 diabetes. If anyone has anyone in their family with diabetes, there's something to think about right there. It reduces inflammation. I'm not gonna go too persuasive on this, but just in clients that I deal with, and including myself, if I eat a lot of sugar or something like that, I actually need to fast the next day, probably the next 2 days for 20 hours each day to kind of get the sugar out of my blood so my joints and stuff feel better. Because if I eat too much sugar, I can feel it all throughout my joints and stuff like that. So with that being said, it reduces the inflammation all throughout the body. Increased fat burning. During periods of fasting, the body switches from using glucose as its main source of energy, which is like the food that you're eating, all right, to burning stored fat instead, all right? So when you're trying to get to those stored fat areas, intermittent fasting helps you get to those. If you keep feeding, I'll tell you a quick little nugget. You gotta look at your stomach like it's like a village of its own, and there's people sitting in your stomach. Not people, but this little village. When you drop food down to them, they don't have to go anywhere to go get the food. So they can just keep eating what you're giving them and not move. However, if you don't give them any food, they have to go get stored fat in the walls of your tummy or wherever it's gonna be coming from, and they have to use that for energy. Thus, pulling inflammation and also helping you burn calories and lose weight. All right, so just look at it like that for an analogy, okay? There are a few downsides, though, to intermittent fasting as well. It provides many benefits, but there are a few drawbacks. Risk of overeating during periods of eating periods. I went through this myself, right? Especially when I first started fasting, which was years ago. When it's time to eat, I just go nuts, and it's not even funny because I'm gonna tummy ache by 6 p.m., which is not good. All right. So, and I was eating wrong too. Now, there's ways to break fast, and we'll discuss that the next time. There's ideal ways, and there's ways you don't want to really break a fast. So, potential negative effects for people that are nursing or pregnant. Okay, they're giving their baby nutrition and stuff. They need to be up to par. They need all the nutrition they got. Their body's going through different cycles. They may be nursing. They need to make sure they're taking in as much as they can for the two people. Also, hunger and food cravings during fasting periods is a big one. There's ways I explain to people how to get around those, like apple cider vinegar in the morning, or black coffee or green tea, because you can't really drink high caloric meals when you're fasting. It's been proven in general to increase the vitality of humans across the board. Conclusion: intermittent fast has been shown to really help when it is implemented correctly. All right, it can throw ladies. It can mess with female hormones. All right, so you have to watch it, even like around cycles. You can do it maybe the first 3 or 4 days, or the first 2 days, and you got to stop. Or maybe the first day, or the last days of your cycle. You don't want to do it during your cycle, because you're already going through enough where you really need to be taking in the nutrition so you can go through your cycle correctly. It can cause people to stop having cycles start coming late, cycles start being heavy, so there's some of the drawbacks for the women. For the men, it can create irritability sometimes because you're not eating, so you're a little bit, like the Snickers commercial, you're a little bit on edge, especially if you're used to eating. I love cookies, right? I love cookies and cakes. Well, when I start to really pull that completely out of my diet for about 2 or 3 days, I got an attitude, like a small one, because I'm not getting my stuff, you know what I mean? So with that being said, any questions? Any questions?
Can I have beer instead of water during the fast?
No, because it's gonna spike your insulin, and you don't want to do that. Any more questions? There's a whole lot more that goes with this, but this is just an overview, so that way you understand what intermittent fasting is on the informational side of it. Just a glaze over. There's benefits beyond measure when it comes to this type of stuff. Yes?
Okay, so would there be like any food you would be recommending to eat during fasting?
Sure. So when you're fasting,
You can keep going.
Yep. So when you're fasting, there's different fasts these days, of course. There's also spiritual fasts, okay? So like fasting is not necessarily new. However, how you break your fast, that's a big deal. And what you eat when you break your fast, throughout your eating period. When you're fasting, technically, if you want to do it, it's called a clean fast. You're just going to be drinking water, just water. Like it's actually called a water fast. Now, there's such thing as a dirty fast, which is what I do mainly. That's going to be like I'll have like a teaspoon of coconut oil for brain fuel in the morning and for fat burning, because fat has 9 calories. So I'm able to go a little longer off of fat like a marathon runner would. But I'm not going to eat anything, because once you eat anything past, say, 30 calories, it kicks you out your fast. That's why. So, but you can do like black coffee, tea, water, maybe a little salt water, Himalayan pink sea salt, or lemon water, but nothing that's going to raise your insulin and kick you out of your fast. All right. And then a couple more pointers. You can't get to autophagy without fasting, really. Okay. So autophagy is going to be the regeneration of your cells, your old cells. It's like your more healthier cells go through your body like Pac-Man eating the trashier cells. The only way to really get to that and for that to work efficiently is to be fasting about 16, 17, 18 hours. Then you start to get into autophagy, which that's why when you get sick, your body doesn't really want to eat. It's rebooting the immune system really to kill the sickness. a lot of us have been taught, feed the cold. That's not really what you want to do, actually. If you fast, you can get rid of it a lot quicker because your body will expel it. Any more questions? Yes.
Should women be eating more on their cycles?
Yeah, probably. Okay, let me say this. I'm not gonna say more, because more would be like, if you normally ate a potato a day, now you can eat a potato and a half. No, you should eat nutrient dense, okay? And things that are easy to digest, stuff that's not gonna sit around, stuff that you can kind of take in, your body can boom, and then get rid of the rest. You don't wanna really sit on stuff, heavy stuff. However, I know that it's satiating to eat, sweet stuff and things like that, because it's your thing. Hormonally, it helps you, you know what I mean? But I will suggest like smoothies are very, very big deal. If you're taking like smoothies throughout your cycle, to change everything, like ginger smoothies or turmeric smoothies, because of it'll help bring down the inflammation that's going on as well during this. So.
You can keep asking questions. The speech was over after he asked this question, but you can keep going. People have more questions for you.
Anything else? Yes. Good. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll send you those.